everybody. Welcome back to Lara Trump, One and for Questioning. I am excited to hear what we've got today. I hope we have some questions about birds because I have a bird story for everybody at the end of the show. Here we go. First question. I would like to know how we keep this momentum going after DJT isn't president anymore. Well, here's the thing. Do you remember the couple of months leading into the inauguration? Remember the transition period from November 5th of 2024 until January 20th of 2025? Think about the momentum that you saw with Donald Trump during those couple of months, right? That was the ramp up to him then getting into the White House and just going absolutely like full bore, like everything running on all cylinders. That's going to continue after he leaves. And all the things he's doing right now are going to set America up. And whoever the future president is, who God willing is going to be a Republican, up for success in the future. You look at things like Doge, right? Doge is necessary because we cannot continue on in the way that we've been operating the federal government. You can't just pay people who aren't showing up to work. You can't be sending billions and billions of dollars to these absurd causes around the world that have absolutely nothing to do with the American people. You can't have 5.5 million illegal immigrants with Social Security cards, 1.3 million of them on Medicaid. That kind of stuff just doesn't work. You can't have Social Security checks going to people who are 150 years old because they don't exist. You've got to get rid of all of that. And once you do something like that, that then sets us up on sort of the right path, right? Likewise, these tariffs. I know that everybody's freaking out about the tariffs. I know the mainstream media wants everyone hysterical over the tariffs. The tariffs are a tool in order to level the playing field because America for so long has been getting ripped off. We've gotten the short end of the stick. We have taken it. We've been happy to just bend over and say like whatever to everybody else in the rest of the world. And we're done with that. You can't have it forever. And Donald Trump understands that, yes, this is going to be a time over the next couple of months while we're figuring this out, that it could get a little rocky. Things aren't going to be perfect. But you have to do it. You have to do it for the future of America. So you look at something like Doge, you look at something like the tariffs, and those are just two examples of the way that Donald Trump is setting things up properly for the next administration. And it's not just the next administration. We're talking for the next probably 50 to 100 years in America. The things he's doing now are so important. They're so needed. They're so necessary. And I'm so grateful that he's doing it, for my kids, for one day my grandkids and future generations. So look, I think the good news for the American people is we have a very deep bench on the Republican side. We have great people. Look at the folks that Donald Trump has put in leadership positions in his administration. Look at Tulsi Gabbard. Look at Pam Bondi. Look at Kristi Noem. Look at Doug Burgum. Look at all of these people who, in their own right, were incredible. Now we're using them to help get this country back on the right track. And you look at so many of the folks that ran, for president against Donald Trump in 2016. Look at 2024, the people who ran against him. You've got great people on the Republican side of the aisle. So we're in really good shape. And I think that what he's doing is going to allow the incoming president in 2029 to literally go in, things firing on all cylinders, and it's going to be a much easier transition. And I hope people are paying attention. I hope that everyone who wants to be president, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, 12 years from now is watching what Donald Trump is doing, because this is how you lead. This is how you get things done. This is how you put America first, and this is how you make America great again. So he's doing it all. Next question. How often is your entire family able to get together? I mean, we're probably like a lot of families, right? We're all busy. We all have things going on. I was really lucky over the weekend. I got to see both Don, Ivanka, and Tiffany, of course. So I saw almost the whole family. I didn't get to see my father-in-law. I spoke to him on the phone a couple times. But, we don't all get together all the time because everybody's busy. And I think, you have the holidays for that sort of thing. So I would say, a couple times a year, we all try to get together at the very least. But there's a group of us who, we always find time. I saw Don at the Trump Doral golf course, the Live Golf tournament we had over the past weekend. And then we had a little baby shower for Tiffany that Ivanka hosted. So got to do that and celebrate her and her new baby. And, I think it's always fun to get little bits here and there of the family. But yeah, we unfortunately are all busy like everybody else out there. So I'm trying to think. We'll probably all get together for Easter again. That'll probably be the next one. And that's very soon. So that's good. Okay, next question. Do you like sweet tea? Well, who doesn't like sweet tea? Sweet tea here's the kind of tea that I grew up with. And everybody in the South understands this. The kind of tea I grew up with was so sweet that you had to squeeze a lemon in it to cut the sweetness. Because that's how they made sweet tea in Wilmington, North Carolina. The unfortunate part of sweet tea is that it's probably not very good for you. The caloric intake, the insulin spike you probably get from that, probably not worth it. I'll tell you who's an aficionado on tea is Eric Trump. And this is unsweetened tea. He absolutely lives for unsweet tea. He doesn't drink any soda, doesn't drink any coffee, but he does drink unsweet tea. A little bit like his dad. Isn't that funny? Dad's never had a cup of coffee in his entire life. That's right, President Trump. So my husband can tell you all you need to know about unsweetened tea. But yeah, sweet tea is delicious. It's very nostalgic for me because when I have sweet tea, it takes me right back to a restaurant that I grew up going to multiple times a week with my family called the Middle of the Island. It takes me back to my Uncle Leon's restaurant. He had a restaurant in Wilmington, North Carolina, and had some great sweet tea. I made a lot of that sweet tea because I worked at his restaurant once upon a time. So yeah, sweet tea is delicious. Of course, don't kid yourself. And I think everybody likes it. It's just, you got to take it in doses. Can't have it all the time. Hey everybody, Lara Trump here. Imagine you or your loved ones facing a threat. Your instinct might be to use lethal force, but considering a safer and less lethal alternative first avoids legal complications associated with firearms. As a gun owner, I advocate for having options, and Byrna is a leading choice in less lethal self-defense. Proudly assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Byrna's less lethal pistol launcher, loaded with tear gas and kinetic ammunition, can incapacitate an attacker for up to 40 minutes. This gives you plenty of time to escape or seek help while minimizing the chances of permanent harm. Byrna isn't just about averting tragedy. It actively saves lives without the repercussions of lethal force. Legal in all 50 states and requiring no background checks, Byrna has sold over 500,000 units, and it can be shipped directly to your door. After personally testing the Byrna pistol, I was honestly impressed by its power and its total ease of use, prompting me to purchase units for my own family and friends. Visit Byrna.com/Lara for 10% off my specially curated bundles. That's BYRNA.com/LARA. Stay safe, America. I've always believed in the power of storytelling, the kind that lifts you up, inspires your faith, and reminds you what truly matters. That's why I love what Angel Studios is doing. They're bringing us films that are good for our families, celebrate our country, and instill values we can stand behind. Movies like Sound of Freedom, Homestead, and Bonhoeffer. Right now, when you join the Angel Guild, you'll get 2 free tickets to King of Kings, a breathtaking animated film about the life of Jesus, in theaters this Easter. I've seen how movies like this can touch hearts and change lives, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Angel Studios is delivering family-friendly entertainment that leaves you feeling good. Films that champion faith, freedom, and self-reliance. I'm proud to support them, and I'd love for you to join me. Go to angel.com/Lara to become a premium Angel Guild member today, and you can claim your 2 free tickets to King of Kings in theaters this Easter. Okay, next question. What kind of encouragement would you give to someone who is almost giving up on working out because nothing is changing? All right, you're doing the wrong things. First of all, I think I explained this very recently, right here on the Q&A portion of this show. you got to set out to do something for 2 weeks in order to make it a habit. Now that 2 weeks, you're not going to see immediate change. You might see like a tiny bit of change, but that gets you hooked. That gets the habit set in. And then you've got to continue doing whatever it is. And here's what else I'll tell you. If it's not hurting, if it's not burning a little bit, it's not working. So you can go lift, 5-pound dumbbells all day long. You're probably not going to see a lot of change. It's why I lift heavy weights. Yeah, I'm a woman. I lift heavy weights, and that's great. That's what you have to do to see change. Likewise, I think walking is a great exercise, but once you start walking enough, you got to up the ante. Then you got to speed walk a little bit. And then after you've done some speed walking, maybe you want to try a jog, and maybe that turns into running. That you've got to continue to change. And if you do the same thing over and over again, your body gets used to it too. So I know a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I just get on the elliptical machine for 20 minutes and I do that a couple times a week. That's doing nothing for you. First of all, your body's fully adapted to whatever workout you initially got from that, the elliptical machine. You've got to have weight training. Weight training builds muscle. Muscle burns calories while you're just sitting around doing absolutely nothing. And it shapes your body. And that's a good thing. So I would say, please don't give up. First of all, anything you do, even if your body gets used to it, is good for your health overall. I know that aesthetics is kind of a big part of working out to a lot of people. Don't kid yourself. I like the aesthetics of it too. But, the overall health benefit you get from doing anything, from doing some sort of cardiovascular workout, from doing weight training, Pilates, whatever it is you're into, that's great. That is absolutely helping you live longer. And there's so many studies to show that it's for 30 minutes do of any exercise, you're adding to your life. So you're doubling your lifespan. It's good for your health long term. You feel better doing it. And if you're frustrated because you're not seeing the results, then I would say you got to switch it up. You got to change it. It's got to hurt a little, got to burn a little, whatever you're doing, and try a new workout. Maybe you want to look into testing out a class in your area or something different. Try that. Try doing that a couple days a week instead of whatever it is you've been doing, and get back to me. Let me know. Final question. What is the best summer vacation location? Cape Cod or the Outer Banks? You really asking somebody from North Carolina this question? First of all, I've never been to Cape Cod, so I cannot comment on that. I have been to the Outer Banks. They're in North Carolina, and they're absolutely beautiful. Now, they're remote. It's going to take you a while to get there, but once you're out there, it's absolutely beautiful. I don't think there are any better beaches than the Carolina beaches. I may be partial because I grew up in North Carolina, but yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. And it's really a chance, if you go to the Outer Banks, for you to just really shut everything off and just tune everything out and really fully relax. It's hard, I think, for a lot of us. We go places, Eric and I go places, and we always end up seeing people we know places, and we got to get dinner with them, and it's great and it's fun. But for us to really just shut everything off and really disconnect and then connect ourselves, it's hard. The Outer Banks is a good place to do that. If that's what you want to do, and if you want a beautiful beach, great water, all of that stuff, I would highly recommend the Outer Banks. And I started this show by saying, I hope someone asks a question about birds, because I have a bird story. I do have a bird story, and let me tell you very quickly. Last year, at the end of the school year, we had a pigeon who had made, I think it's a pigeon, I don't know. No, not a pigeon, a turtle dove. My gosh, pigeon. I'm in New York mode, see? We had a turtle dove who had made a nest in our garage, right? We have a garage that it's always up because these kids are getting all their stuff out, soccer balls and bikes and all the things, right? So the garage door is open all the time at my house. And this turtle dove came in, made herself a little nest right on top of the device that raises and lowers the garage door. So whenever we left to go to New York for the summer, this turtle dove was still on the nest. I don't know that the eggs had even hatched at that point. And I said to Eric, I was like, my God, I'm so worried about this bird. We can't just shut her in here or shut her out. Her babies are going to die. She's going to be this deadbeat mom. We can't do that to this girl. So, of course, I found someone in our neighborhood who came twice a day, once in the morning and once at night to raise and lower the garage so that this bird could have access to her babies. Then we got pictures of the babies. That's right. Yep. Once they hatched. And then finally, once they all flew away and went out on their own and left the nest, vacated the space. And then he very kindly helped us clean up the mess, because there's a mess after you have birds living in your garage. So Eric got all of the spiky things that you see on top of buildings so birds don't land and nest there. Got him and put them all over our garage. So he was adamant we weren't going to have this same problem this year. Do you know the one spot that was free in our garage? It was like one of those Rubbermaid plastic boxes that, I don't know, he had something stored in. Guess who's on there? Guess who's got a nest on there? That's right, turtle dove. They're back. He's very upset about it. I don't know what we're going to do. I'll report back on the birds. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Make sure you send us more questions under this episode on any of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And we'll see you back here next time for more of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.